Hello YouTube, how you doing? Welcome to Ocho React YouTube channel. Today's video we're going to be talking about YNW Melly and YNW Melly Bortlen. They currently have a case going on, a situation, and we don't currently know if they guilty or innocent. But YNW Bortlen basically took a plea and messing up YNW Melly right now. So you already know anything 1090 Jake says is actually facts because he go get his research. So let's get into the video. Let's see what 1090 Jake have to say about the situation.
September 9th, 2025. YNW Bortlen shook the internet as he took a plea deal that was live streamed to YouTube. Facing 5 life sentences with an additional 75 years in Florida State Prison, Bortlen's
Listen to this. He's facing 5 life sentences with an additional 75 years. Let me know in the comments, are you willing to do all that time for your friend? Just let me know. Let me know in the comments. Are you really that tough?
legal team was able to do the damn near impossible. Pleading no contest, the state agreed to drop 2 counts of first-degree murder for the shooting deaths of YNW Juvie and Sack Chaser. They'd also drop a conspiracy to tamper with the witness and a count of directing gang activities. By entering a plea of no contest, Bortlen has not admitted guilt, has not admitted the existence or involvement in a gang, and has not implicated himself or others in a murder. In exchange,
that's the reason we cannot too quick to call somebody a rat, to call somebody a snitch, because he didn't even do nothing. I see the whole internet going crazy calling Bortlen a rat. You just gotta calm down and wait for the real facts, and 1090 Jake got it.
For his plea, Bortlen has been found guilty of 1 count of tampering with a witness, 2 counts of being an accessory to a capital felony, and 1 count of unlawful use of a 2-way communication device. Bortlen has been sentenced to 10 years in Florida State Prison on these charges, to be followed by 6 years of probation. He was also credited for his time in jail. Bortlen was arrested back in 2019 and wouldn't receive a bond for 15 months. In October of 2023, he'd be rearrested, remaining in jail until now, lasting an additional 23 months. In all, Bortlen did a total of 38 months in jail, just over 3 years, meaning his 10-year sentence is already down to 7. Due to Florida law, 85% of a prison sentence must be completed. So if Bortlen is on his best behavior, he could be released in just under 6 years at the young age.
Just listen to this. He already did all this time for YNW Melly. Don't you think he want to hurry up and get it over with? That doesn't mean he have to tell. The man just want to move on with his life.
32. This plea deal for 2 capital murders is nothing short of fucking amazing. But it came with a twist that has the internet going crazy. Just after letting Bortlen know everything that came with the plea, the judge would highlight the fact that after the plea is made, the state wants to take a proffer from Bortlen. An immediate flag on the play, a proffer is defined under Florida law as an agreement to speak with prosecutors to share information. This would lead everyone from say cheese, academics, no jumper, my fucking self.
Now, this is the reason why they saying YNW Bortlen is telling. It's because of this. It ain't even happened yet. It's because of the proffer. Let's get back into the video, man. That's the reason I like 1090 Jake. He always speaking the real facts.
And even Melly's old lawyer Bradford Cohen to assume the worst. Bortlen was now going to snitch on Melly.
All right, let's talk YNW Melly and YNW Bortlen. He is now doing the triple Lindy for For those youngsters that don't know what the triple Lindy is, it is when you do several flips off a high dive, and he will be flipping. He is going to be tell-all about anything he knows about the double murder case, and they will know if he's telling the truth or telling a lie when he gives his full quote-unquote confession as to what happened that evening. And that's what happens. A lot of times where guys are in the prison for 4 or 5.
There's people out there already want to bring you down. This man don't even know what he's talking about. He don't even know what he's talking about. He already want to bring YNW Bortlen down.
5 years awaiting trial and looking at a life sentence, and they're offered 10 years where they'll be home probably in another 3 years that he'll serve. He decides to flip and become a cheese eater. And that's what happens a lot of times on these cases. And I was expecting it to happen a lot sooner than it did. He held out for quite some time. But long story short is it looks like he's going to flip. And it makes the case on YNW Melly, depending on what he says, which I anticipate he'll say that YNW Melly is responsible. But depending on what he says, it will make the YNW Melly case a lot more difficult to try. But still not impossible. I've had cases where there were flipping witnesses where... I had a federal case with several flipping witnesses where we still got a not guilty, and it's possible to still get a not guilty in this case. Obviously, it's going to make it a lot more difficult. He has an excellent lawyer, by the way, Fred Haddad, who's a friend of mine, and I know Fred would have done a very good job for him at trial, but ultimately it is an individual's decision whether or not to become Chuck E. Cheese. And in this case, he has become Chuck E. Cheese. Is Chuck E. Cheese a mouse or a rat? I'm not sure. But long story short is he will be flipping, and it's going to make the case against YNW Melly a lot more difficult to win.
Now, as a man, I always leave room to stand corrected in any situation. And I have to give a shout out to my boy Seti Nash for his thorough journalism in this case. Bortlen's main lawyer, Fred Haddad, would release a statement saying, "I don't represent snitches. Cortland Henry is not a snitch, and he will not be cooperating or testifying in YNW Melly's trial. Anyone who claims differently..."
Right there. Proof of evidence. Right there. Don't be calling out people out their name and then they didn't even do it for real. People out here waiting to bash your name. That's just part of the society. He has a name out here. He has a reputation to not snitch, youngsters.
Has not seen the plea deal and has no idea what they're talking about. Well, in my humble opinion, what the fuck else would a prophet be other than the snitch? Why would the state want to sit down with Bortlen if he wasn't obligated by the plea deal to cooperate against the main man they believe is the shooter? Why would Bortlen's sentence go from 5 life sentences plus 75 to only serving 7 years in prison? What else would they have to talk about when the only thing left to do in the case is convict Melly? Even the judge would tell Bortlen in court, "I don't know how your lawyers pulled this off." Well, I reached out to Bortlen's other lawyer, Joe Nascimento, who further clarified Bortlen has not agreed to testify and will not provide any statement implicating Melly or anyone else. This plea agreement brings closure to Bortlen's cases and will be the last time he appears in a courtroom.
Hey, 1090 Jake. Thanks for giving me the chance to clear up a lot of the confusion and just chaos that's happening online right now.
Thank goodness his lawyer came to clear up his name. Thank goodness, man, because it would have been bad for YNW Bortlen right now.
After YNW Bortlen's plea this afternoon went viral on social media, it's clear that a lot of people just don't understand what has happened. So I want to start by talking about what he was charged with. He was facing 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of accessory after the fact of first-degree murder, tampering with a witness, conspiracy to tamper with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal gang, and the utilization of a two-way communication device to commit a felony. In all, he was facing 5 mandatory life sentences if found guilty, plus an additional 75 years on top of that. And the facts of his plea are that he has pled no contest That's very important because that means he has not admitted guilt. He's not admitted that he's done anything wrong, and he's certainly not admitted or given information about anybody else. He's been found guilty, and in exchange, the state has dismissed the 2 murder counts, the conspiracy to tamper with a witness count, and the charge about directing the activities of a criminal gang. He's going to be sentenced to 10 years in Florida State Prison, followed by 6 years of probation with credit for time that he has served. And he's required as a part of that to sit...
Hey, you got to give it to YNW Bortlen. Because he been holding it down, but sometimes people just want to go on with their life, man. Just get it over with, man. Like, hey, what's my time already? Doesn't mean I'm telling. What's my time already? Let's get it over with. That's all it is. And then the internet just want to come in here and bash you for no apparent reason.
Down and give what's called a proffer. Typically, when you hear the word proffer, especially in a criminal case, it's when a witness offers information or will explain what they would testify to if called at trial or a hearing. It's unfortunate that we use that word today in court because that's not what's going to happen in this case. Bortlen is not going to sit down and give a lengthy proffer or answer questions about what he would testify to if he were called as a witness, because we don't anticipate him being called as a witness at any trial or any hearing, especially not one involving Melly. What I can tell you is that Bortlen is not going to implicate anybody else. He's not going to provide information against anybody else. Melly's name is not even going to come out of his mouth when he's talking to prosecutors in this case. I anticipate the conversation with the prosecutors is going to be very, very brief. And it is not going to be what everyone thinks it's going to be online, where he sits down and rats or provides information to cooperate against other people. So a lot of people are saying that Bortlen's plea and his proffer are going to hurt Melly in some way and affect his trial in the future. And again, that's absolutely untrue. YNW Bortlen is not going to be a state witness. YNW Bortlen is not going to provide information that's going to impact Melly's trial in any way. YNW Bortlen is not expected to come and provide information against anybody. So to be clear, his plea, his proffer, and anything surrounding it will have absolutely no impact on Melly's trial. I want to add just a little bit more background to what's happened over the past couple weeks. Neither the defense nor the state wanted this case to go to trial this month. We believe that our case should be stayed until after Melly's appeals are resolved and his case is ready for trial, because our anticipation was that Melly's case would be tried before Bortlen's. However, the judge denied our request for a continuance and denied our request to stay Bortlen's case pending Melly's appeals. So we were moving forward to trial, and we knew that we had a very strong defense to the murder counts. But for Bortlen to be successful, he would have to have beat every single count, keeping in mind that he was facing 5 mandatory life sentences. So for him to take a deal that he's almost already served at least half of the sentence already, he doesn't have to admit that he did anything wrong. He doesn't have to testify against anybody else. He doesn't have to provide information that would affect Melly or anybody else about anything related to this case or any other case. It was a no-brainer for him to ensure.
Hey, this lawyer right here saved him, man. He literally saved him. Because the internet was having a field day.
That he gets to walk out of prison one day and live his life versus rolling the dice with a random jury, no matter how strong his defense is and how weak the case for the state was. So I'm really hoping that people can understand that and understand that it was a very tough decision for him, but it was very important to him that his decision have no impact on others.
While we don't know what Bortlen will be saying in his proffer with the prosecutors, the judge made it clear whatever he says will have no effect on his plea deal. Meaning, he could apparently say anything, or not much of anything at all. Bortlen technically didn't beat the murders, the charges were dropped. So if he sat down and admitted to the murders, he would be recharged. And with that in mind, I wonder if Bortlen would be able to plead the Fifth, invoking his Fifth Amendment right, which guarantees no person shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself. Meaning Bortlen could potentially refuse to speak to keep himself from further incriminating himself. We won't know until it happens, and we'll have to wait until then to see what's actually said. Normally very vocal, YNW Melly's mom has remained silent after Bortlen's plea, and she was present when it happened. No word has come from Melly's legal team, as he's now represented by legal powerhouse Drew Finley. And even Bradford Cohen, Melly's old lawyer, would backtrack from his initial statement about Bortlen.
All right, let's get to it. Let's talk YNW Bortlen and YNW Melly. The information is coming in fast and furious to my office. People are calling me left and right. They saw the post. You know what time it is. And they are telling me that YNW Bortlen is not going to be a flipper, and he is not going to be the cheese eater I previously said that he could become. And he is going to give a statement. I don't know what that statement's going to be, but his attorney is an excellent attorney. He's one of my good friends and you know, really helped me out as a young attorney. Fred Haddad, a great guy. And he represented very, very few, if any, flippers in the past. That's why I was kind of surprised at first. But it turns out, the rumor on the street, YNW Bortlen is not going to be a flipper, but he will give a proffer.
So at this time, I, 1090 Jake, proudly stand corrected. And you know what? When Bortlen hits the DOC, I'll reach out to him personally with a, my bad, bro, but cut me a little bit of slack because everybody thought you told. You know what I'm saying? I had a co-defendant that took a proffer and he told everything on me. So when I heard proffer, I'm like, no, Melly's fried. But reaching out and speaking to his lawyer, Joe, who was present in the courtroom with him that day, you know, I'm not a lawyer at the end of the day. None of these guys on YouTube, from Act to Say Cheese to fucking Vlad to Adam22, none of us are lawyers. We've just dealt with so many similar situations that, yeah, we can make a judgment based on what we've already experienced before. We've never heard of a proffer going good. You know what I mean? Like, we've never heard of sitting down with the prosecutors and they're not snitching. But I stand corrected. And I'm proud to, because you know what? Bortlen has held on for 6, damn near 7 years without folding on his man's Melly. And the fact that he's taken this plea and apparently nothing is going to affect Melly, that's some soldier shit, because he could have folded a long time ago. So like I said, we'll just have to wait and see when the proffer actually happens. I'm sure everyone's going to request it. We're going to see what's said, and then next up is going to be Melly's trial. But hey, let me know y'all's thoughts and comments in the comment section. It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all, and y'all rocking with me. Until next time.
Thank you so much for being in the video for this long. Thank you. We almost there. We're not there, but we almost there. And as long as I could get one person or 2 people to watch my video, that's all I care about, man. That's all I care about. Please like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for being an Unkster.